Hey, so it seems I need to weigh in on this Syria and Assad situation. Suffice it to say that this will likely offend. So, bear that in mind. Right, so, did you see the dead babies that are dead? And babies that are dead? The dead babies? And the children that are dead? It's really quite disgusting, you know? Really, quite. I mean, this has all the hallmarks of a. I don't want to use the word false flag, but, the last time this happened, in the same city. Anyway, the last time this happened in this very same city, a gas attack, it was done by the rebels. And it was an attempt by the administration at the time, the Obama people, to try and sell it as, oh, Bashar al-Assad, he's a big evil man, gassing his people. And then we have Nikki Haley getting on the UN Security Council and saying, this is justified. We're justified in being cowboys. Pew pew! Like she's all George Bush up in here. So, saying these attacks are justified because of the horrible multiple chemical attacks by Bashar al-Assad. Now, if I'm not mistaken, if this was the same place where these Syrian rebels had their stockpiles of chemical weapons, and Bashar's trying to defeat these people, then let's just say, for instance, he wanted to destroy their stockpiles of weapons. Well, what happens when you don't use adequate explosive to destroy a chemical weapons stockpile? It goes every fucking where. And people die. Now, this is presuming that there's so many ifs here. So many ifs. Like, we look at the first responders, they're not adequately protected. I mean, we should be hearing about first responders suffering some very serious deleterious effects in the very near future. If we don't, then that's pretty suspect. I mean, we're talking about sarin gas here, so... I mean, it's not Vexon. It's not like the tippity tip top of the nerve agent scale, but it's bad stuff. I mean, it's well past like chlorine or mustard gas. But then we're seeing effects on the ground of, who knows, something that it bears the hallmarks of a different chemical agent, but who knows? I mean, these things hopefully will come out in time, since, Lord, everybody's eyes are on Syria right now. You know, Russia, us, Israel, freaking Jordan, freaking everybody in the area. Like, the UN inspectors are on the ground, I mean, pretty much all the time, right? Well, anyway, got to see the video from the airfield in Homs, I think. I don't know. I know nothing about Syrian geography, so, forgive me. But the damage was rather minimal. It looks like the attacks were properly coordinated to do as little damage as possible. Certainly not a shock and awe kind of thing. So, I don't know what sort of agreement has been come to with all this. But the whole thing, the whole thing stinks. Like, it's ugly all around. There's, 80-some people dead from the blast and whatever happened. I don't know. Anyway, I'm going to give you my very first initial take on here in the news. Discuss amongst yourselves, I suppose. There's a comment thingamajigger down there that you can, feel free to use for such stuff. Anyway, my initial thoughts on hearing this is, Oh, so there was an attack on this rebel head city, and there was a leak of this chemical agent from, a poorly executed. Somebody didn't do the math right on what explosives were needed. I don't know what the term is for that. Whatever that is. Somebody in music. Yeah, I don't know. Can't say words. I'm not going to edit that out. But anyway, somebody in the munitions department at the Syrian Air Force needs to get their ass kicked. Because that's my thoughts. But I guess a couple of dozen Tomahawk missiles counts as getting your ass kicked. So I think we're even, and I think we really need to do something about these Syrian rebels that we've been arming up until recently, because they have murdered countless fucking civilians and enabled ISIS, Al-Qaeda, and any number of other undesirables. So that's my thoughts on things. Feel free to share down there or whatever. And, subscribe. Tell people to check out my channel. I promise I'm going to actually be putting out videos, because I don't feel quite as dead inside. So, right. See you soon. Toodles.